Hello students, Biosavers are here with a very important and interesting unit for NEET aspirants, that is cell, the unit of life. As brick is the unit of wall and several bricks combine to form a wall and wall forms a home, same way cells are brick to organism's body. So to study a body, we first need to know what is cell. So let's get started. So cell is the structural and functional unit of living organism. So a question arises, why do organisms have cell? Actually, this is very simple question and the answer to this question is very obvious, but we will get back to this question later on. First look about the history of the cell, that how cell was invented. In 1665, scientist Robert Hooke was credited for the discovery of cell. He examined the thin slices of cork, that is the dead bark of oak, under a primitive microscope he had assembled. What he observed, he saw tiny empty compartments in the slices which he called them as cellulae, which is now called as cell. These black dots are the tiny compartments which Robert Hooke called as cellulae. He examined the same structure for other plants too and he got the same results. After Hooke, many discoveries were made and it was Anton von Leeuwenhoek who designed simple microscope and observed live cells such as human sperm cells, bacteria, protozoa, RBC, etc. He called those swimming creatures animalcules. So Robert Hooke discovered the dead cells while Anton von Leeuwenhoek discovered the live cells. After many scientists led their discoveries in the cell biology, like Robert Brown discovered the nucleus in orchid root cell, John Purkinje discovered the protoplasm, Scaldin and Swan discovered the cell theory. Now what is cell theory? Let's look into that. Above all this, cell theory is the most fundamental generalization of biology which was put by Scaldin and Swan in 1839. What Mr. M.J. Scaldin said that all plants are formed of one or more cells, and Theodore Swan was a zoologist and he stated that all animals are formed of cells. They have nuclei and are enclosed by a thin cell membrane instead of thick cell wall as found in the plant cells. But although the cell theory is correct, but it does not apply to all the organism, so there was a need for the modification of cell theory. So it was done by physiologist Rudolf Virchow in 1858 that all the living cells arise from the pre-existing cells, which he called it as omnius cellula e cellula, and this was called as law of cell linkage. Number of other modifications were also carried out in the cell theory, and the modern cell theory is known as cell principle or cell doctrine, which applies to almost all the living organisms like plants, animals, microorganisms, and it incorporates all the modern findings of the cell. Now let's get back to our question, that why do organisms have cell? Now, most of you can answer that in living organisms, the metabolic reactions can occur only in a proper environment. And the cell is the structure which provides this special environment to support life. So, the cells are called as life supporting chambers and it can perform all the functions required to run the body efficiently. And that's why organisms need cell. Now, cells are of basically two types, prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. And this division was made on the basis of three topics, that is biomembrane, cytoplasmic organelle and nuclear material. Both of these cells differ from each other in mainly these three aspects, membrane, organelles and nuclear material. Prokaryotic cells are the most primitive cells and they are a single member or one envelope system, that is only one membrane surrounds them as they occur in bacteria, for example, Pneumococcus, Vibrio, Clostridium, and they are generally called as blue-green algae. While eukaryotic is the developed form of cell and it occurs in higher organization of animals. Now first let's see the prokaryotic cell in detail. So the size and the form of prokaryotic cell differs in organism to organism. The prokaryotes generally have a size of 1 to 10 micrometer, while mycoplasms are the smallest of all, that is 0.1 to 1 micrometer in size. And they differ in shapes like rod-shaped bacillus, spear-shaped coccus, helix-shaped spirilla, and comma-shaped vibrios. These all four are the basic shapes of the prokaryotic cell. Some of the cells assume different forms in their life cycle. Some of the prokaryotes, they assume different forms in their life cycle, and such prokaryotic cells are called as pleomorphic. And the example is Bacillus radiculosa. So this is a very important point to note down, that which organism is pleomorphic. So Bacillus radiculosa is the pleomorphic, which means that it assumes different forms in its whole life cycle. Now let's talk about the staining property of this prokaryotic cell. So bacteria are generally stained with the Gram stain. This Gram stain is a weak alkaline solution of crystal violet and it stains blue or purple. Then it is washed in, or then it is colored with 0.5 iodine solution, and then it is washed with H2O or water, and then finally with the alcohol or acetone. After this process, we can see that bacteria which can retain the stain are Gram positive bacteria, and the bacteria which does not retain this stain are Gram negative bacteria. Now, why Gram positive bacteria stains means why don't they lose the stain? Because they have a special membrane, thick membrane, which does not allows the stain to wash out with the alcohol or acetone. So the stain remains in them and they are termed as Gram positive bacteria. While Gram negative bacteria have a very thin cell wall, and as when it is applied with the alcohol or acetone, the stain gets washed out, and that's why they are termed as Gram negative bacteria. Gram positive bacteria does not let the alcohol to penetrate into it, and that's why the stain remains. So this was about the staining property of the bacteria. Now let's talk about the outer covering. Basically, prokaryotic cells have three coverings. First is slime layer and capsule. Now they are present outside the cell wall and they are made up of polysaccharide in the Gram negative bacteria. Now let's talk about both of them in detail. So first, capsule is present as thick and tough layer, and it is made up of polypeptide and D-glutamic acid. And what it does, it provides gummy and sticky nature, and it helps the cell to glue together. While what the slime layer does, it is comparatively thin and loose layer compared to the capsule layer, and it is present outside the cell wall, and it is made up of polypeptide and dextrix, and what it does, it protects the cell from desiccation. So both of these layer functions differently from each other. This is thin and loose sheath, while this is thick and tough layer. It is made up of polypeptide and D-glutamic, while it is made up of polypeptide and dextrix. Outside to this layer is cell wall. So cell wall is present outside this layer. It protects the cell, maintains the shape, provides the support and strength, and keeps the cell from bursting in hypertonic media. It is generally made up of peptidoglycan, which is also called as murein or mycopeptide, and it may sometimes contain teichoic acid. Now this is very important point to note down, that mycoplasms, which is called as PPLO, they lack cell wall. Now this MCQ has come most of the times, that which prokaryotic cell have only two outer coverings. that is capsule and slime layer, and only cell membrane. It lacks cell wall, so it have only two coverings. Generally, all the prokaryotic have three coverings, but mycoplasms, as they lack cell wall, they have only two coverings. So this was about the cell wall. Now let's talk about the third covering, that is cell membrane. But before looking into the cell membrane, here it is seen that the gram-positive bacteria and gram-negative bacteria can be distinguished from each other, first by the staining property and second by their outer layers. Gram-positive bacteria have peptidoglycan as cell wall and plasma and then plasma membrane. But gram-negative bacteria have outer lipid membrane. This is outer lipid membrane and peptidoglycan. They both act as cell wall and then the plasma membrane is present. So they can be distinguished by this property too. Now let's talk about the third covering, that is cell membrane. Now cell membrane controls the movement of molecules into and out of the cell. It also bears respiratory enzymes and it keeps the cytoplasm intact. Cell membrane holds the receptor molecules to detect chemicals in surrounding, and it forms mesosomes by infolding. Like means the cell membrane by folding it forms the mesosome structure. It lacks sterol like cholesterol and Hoppenot's type of lipids like pentacyclic sterol, which produce stability, is present sometimes in the cell membrane. Now again here it is an important point to note down that these are round shaped like coccus shaped bacteria. So this is a coccus shaped bacteria. This is the chief agent of tooth decay. What they does, they adheres to the teeth and use sucrose as raw material, and so that's why it is said that candy and other sugary foods are very harmful, because sugary substances have sucrose in them, and this bacteria what they does, they adheres to the teeth and uses this sucroses and they cause the tooth decay. So these are generally streptococcus mutans type of bacteria. So you see that I have been talking about these important points in between, which I hope you should be noting it down. Now we have talked about the membranes, outer covering, staining property and size and form of the prokaryotic cell till now. Now let's talk about the cytoplasm of the prokaryotic cell. Cytoplasm of prokaryotic cell generally lacks membrane-bound organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, Golgi body, centrosome, lysosomes, and so on. But instead, cytoplasm contains variety of organic and inorganic molecules like glycogen granules, lipid droplets, sulfur granules, and phosphate granules, and they act as reservoir. These phosphate granules are called as volatile granules, while sulfate and phosphate granules are together called as metachromatic granules. So this is also an important point to note down. And other than these granules, cytoplasm of prokaryotic cells also have certain enzymes, tRNAs and mRNAs also. These granules generally act as the storage reservoir. Now, other than the membrane-bound organelles, there are certain organelles which are present in the cytoplasm of prokaryotic cell. They are ribosomes. Now, ribosomes are present as 70S. 70S ribosome is present, which have subunit of 50S and 30S. Now, how 70S ribosomes have this 50 and 30S subunits? We will talk about this subunit later on in further lectures. And sometimes these ribosomes are arranged in rows and it is called as polyribosomes. These ribosomes are generally the site for the protein synthesis. Other than that, the cytoplasm of prokaryotic cells have thylakoids. Blue-green algae generally have this membranous thylakoids. And why they have thylakoids? Thylakoids are generally used to hold the pigments. And this thylakoid is derived from the cell membrane. It holds the green pigment, and with the help of this they absorb the sunlight and undergo photosynthesis. Other than that, vacuoles are also present in the cytoplasm. Photosynthetic bacteria form these free-floating gas vacuoles, and they help in providing the buoyancy to protect from the intense solar radiation. These are generally in the form of globular structure. Other than that, the main genetic material is also present in the prokaryotic cell, but the main thing, it is not enclosed by an envelope and lies in the direct contact with the cytoplasm, and hence the name. Means the genetic material lies in the cytoplasm naked without any covering. We already said that membrane bound organelles are absent in the prokaryotic cell. So genetic material also lies naked in the cytoplasm, but they occur in a particular region. That region is called as nucleoid, and this region stains less dense than the cytoplasm, so we can easily distinguish them with the staining property. Now, DNA is a double-stranded helical and circular structure, as we can see that it occurs as a single chromosome and they have less protein. Such a simple chromosome is called as prochromosome or genophore. These are haploid, they have a less DNA, and that's why they have less protein. Other than this bacterial DNA, prokaryotic cells also have small circular DNA, which is called as plasmid, in addition to this prochromosome. Plasmid, they encode proteins that can enable organism to resist the antibiotics, and the genetic material does not have nucleolus. So this was about the genetic material of the prokaryotic cell. Now further moving to the outside part of the prokaryotic cell, they have appendages. Generally three type of appendages are present: flagella, pili, and fimbriae. These flagella are thin filamentous extensions from the cell wall. They are made up of flagellin protein and they generally help in the locomotion. Pili, they are the short tubular processes and they are non-motile processes. They are, as the name suggests, they are made up of pillin protein and they help in conjugation. While fimbriae, they are small bristle-like fingers which are sprouting out of the bacterial cell and they attach to the solid surface like the host tissue. So the flagella helps in locomotion, pili helps in conjugation, and fimbriae helps in the attachment to the host tissue for the nutrition and for the other purposes. Important point to note here is flagella is absent in blue-green algae and pili are found in the gram-negative bacteria. So let's see the structure of this flagella. Flagella have mainly two parts, filament and the basal body. Filament part is exposed part which consists of vertical rows of flagellin protein, while the basal body is further divided into two parts, the hook which is made up of protein and the shaft. This is the shaft part. Now this shaft part have two rings, L ring and M ring, means four types of rings are present. Four rings are present is P ring, S ring, M ring and L ring is present in negative bacteria, while only two ring, that is L ring and M ring, is only present in the positive, that is gram positive bacteria. So with the help of this distinguishing we can also distinguish the gram negative bacteria and gram positive bacteria. First we distinguish them on the basis of staining property, then on the basis of outer covering, and now in the structure of flagella, that gram negative bacteria have four rings, all the four rings, while gram positive bacteria have only two rings. And no flagella is found in the blue-green algae. This is generally the peptidoglycan layer, periplasmic space. This is the plasma membrane. So this is the whole basal body which is divided into shaft and the hooks. And this is the exposed part which is the filament. This is the bacterial structure which shows the three types of appendages. That is, these are thin filamentous extensions, that is flagellum, which helps in the locomotion. Second is pili. These are short tubular processes, and these are non-motile processes which help in conjugation. And further smaller than this, these are the bristle-like structures which are fimbriae, which attaches to the host tissue. So this was all about the structure of prokaryotic cell. Now to see the prokaryotic cell in more detail, let's see that in through a video. So this is a general prokaryotic structure showing plasmid, DNA, cytoplasm, flagella, and further appendages. These are the capsule layer, this is the cell wall layer, and this is the cell membrane. As we can see, the DNA is lying naked and no membrane bound organelles are present in the prokaryotic cell. Now here are the types of bacteria. Here we can see is the spiral shaped bacteria. There was rod shaped, comma shaped Vibrio bacteria. This is spirillum shaped bacteria having appendages. This is round circle shaped coccus bacteria. This is again coccus bacteria, staphylococcus bacteria. This is bacillar shaped rod shaped bacteria having different types of appendages, that is flagella, pili and fimbriae. This is again a different type of bacteria which is known as spirochete, and this is the outer covering of the gram positive and gram negative bacteria. As we can see here, they are different from each other. They can be distinguished by the outer membrane. So I hope it was now it is clear with you the structure of prokaryotic cell, and this animated video made it more clear to you. So thank you for today.